Welcome back, artists. Today we are going to draw out our Dr. Seuss landscape. We have been working in our sketchbooks to design a whimsical, fun landscape based on the landforms you guys have been learning in class. The ocean, the plains, hills and valleys, the plateau, and the mountains. So we incorporated all of those. And then we drew some fun, crazy creatures and landforms to go with it, like some lollipop trees or fun buildings that are architectural. You're going to take your design plan, you're going to transform it onto a large 12 by 18 piece of white paper. Use pencil first, that way you can erase. Make sure as you are outlining that you have a nice dark line with that black crayon. We want this to kind of look like a cartoon coloring book page that is outlined with that black crayon, and then we're going to color it in. The black crayon is really nice, especially if you choose to paint this with watercolor, because the wax of the crayon, as we know, will create a wall so that the colors should not run together. So I am just going to finish outlining my design with my black crayon, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I finished outlining everything with my black crayon. And as you can see, I decided to leave out a few things because it was getting kind of busy and I just felt like it didn't work very well in the composition. This tree's gone, and I changed a few things around. And that's okay, because you're the artist and you can decide what's going to work for you and what isn't. Now that will probably take one whole class session just to draw it with a pencil and outline it with the black crayon. But now I'm going to show you, next we're going to add color. I love color. So I'm going to give you guys the option. You can use the paint chips and you can do a watercolor look on this. Or, dun 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 dun, I really like these, fluorescent oil pastels. I think these are really fun and they're a cool way to kind of add some pizzazz and zip to our drawings. Plus, I love the bright colors. So I'm going to use the oil pastels. Your choice, you're the artist, you can pick. Remember, if you're going to paint, put those paintbrushes bristles up when you're done, rinse them really well, and use the art path. So I'm just going to start by using some lighter colors. Remember, when we do a landscape, in the front, brighter colors. In the back, darker, duller colors. But this is kind of fantasy, so we can break the rules. Also, when you're using the pastels, don't forget to do some color blending. I'll start with this guy right here. I think it's a moose driving a motorcycle, but I'm not quite sure. That's what I love about this kind of drawing. You can make such fun fantasy creatures. So I'm going to color him. I'm going to push lightly with my pastels. I don't need to kill the pastel and push super, super hard. And then I'm going to add some different color, just to give my moose different values. I want him to look like he's maybe got some shading here under his arm, and he has different colors on him, different values. Then I can use my fingers and blend and smooth those colors. And that is just a fun way to work with pastels, to make them look creamy and create kind of a different look. So now he's got different values of oranges and yellows. And I'm just going to keep working to finish my landscape. Have fun, artists. All right, so as you guys are coloring, if you're using the oil pastels, I just want to show you a few things. Don't forget to overlap colors. This back here, a lot of students ask me, how do you make brown? If you want brown, remember your complementary colors. Purple and yellow, they're complements. I laid them together back here and blended them, and makes kind of a golden brown color. And then I laid some blue on top of that in the lines, just coming down like this to create some different textures. So think about how you can add texture also into your drawing. And then also, I had a student show me this last time when we used oil pastels, and I really liked this. She drug her fingernail through, and look at how it picks up the oil pastel. And that is a really neat way also to get some texture in there and some white spots. Also, I want to remind you guys to think about contrast. Contrast, putting a light color against a dark color. So when you're coloring in, you want to have those contrasts. Also, as I was working, I was thinking, it might be kind of cool if I actually do some watercolor in here also. So I'm thinking that I might paint my sky and paint my ocean and maybe paint my road. Not too much. I just want to use it as sort of a focal point. So a couple other ideas. Also down here, you guys notice this texture. Again, this is just lines. What I did is I used 3 colors. I think it was the yellow, the purple, and the bright orange. And I just drew with the yellow across horizontally. And then I drew with the orange vertically, just very lightly. And then I put some purple lines in, just coming down very lightly. I'm barely pushing the oil pastel, and I'm just allowing those lines to be very light, but it adds that extra layer of texture that this might look like the plains. And so those are just some ways to work. Don't be afraid to continue to layer those pastels one on top of the other. Just like this one here. There's a lot of texture here on this piece. But again, it's just color on top of color on top of color going lightly. If you push too hard at first with the oil pastel, it won't accept other colors on top of it. So remember those. All right. I can't wait to see your finished pieces.